Hey friends, welcome to Strong. What I love about practices like this is it truly pulls all my senses into the present moment. When we're doing something that is physically strong, it really pulls every layer of our body and our mind and our attention into the same space. What's beautiful about this is if we do it with a degree of mindfulness and truth, if we work ourselves just to wherever our physical and mental and emotional edges are, it can show us a great deal about ourselves. It's been said that how we do one thing is how we do all things. And so practices like this are an incredible opportunity to observe ourselves. Observe how you react, how you go toward challenge, which way you tend to cultivate your strength, whether you're pushing or yielding. It can show you a lot. Through the physical movement of this class, I hope that you have the opportunity to realize you can break through all sorts of layers of limitations that you consciously or unconsciously set for yourself. And in that process, we get to see where else we might start to blow through layers of our own limitation. To start with, let's just get here. If you're comfortable sitting easy peasy on your bum, then find yourself into a comfortable seat and wiggle on in. If by any chance you like to sit up higher, make sure that you have a prop or two available, a block or a cushion, and give yourself room to make sure that there's space. So we're not bullying the body, we can just start where we are. When you're ready to soften your shoulders down out of your ears, lengthen the crown of the head up away from your hips, close your eyes, and land. In order for a practice like this to evolve in a way that is going to be beneficial to us, we have to get here mind and body and breath. So draw your attention from the outside, the environment that you're in, through the layers of your physical body, into the deep center of your inner landscape. Really consciously start to move your breath. Without needing to push yourself to any outer limits. Let the growth of your inhale begin to deepen and widen within you. And the length of your exhale to follow in a way that matches. Drinking the breath all the way in until your full belly, sides, and chest. And exhaling until it's gone. Connecting to this rhythm of your own. Take about 3 more. And you can choose to keep your hands rested on your lap, or if it speaks to you, pick your hands up to layer over the space of your heart. And remembering that we invest into this practice so that we can know ourselves truly from the inside out. That we can use the physical layer of the practice to help serve the deeper meaning of it. Iyengar said that it's through the body we realize that we're a spark of divinity. Commit to this for one more breath before we carry on. And use your exhale to release your hands down to your sides and crack your eyes open wide. We're gonna lower down onto our back body. Anchor your feet with your fingertips far out in front and try to roll down really nice and slow. Awesome. When you get here, keep your knees bent, your feet to the floor, and then settling the space of your back body, you're gonna inhale and curl your head and your shoulders up off the mat, reaching your fingertips far forward. Keep your belly dragging down, really contained toward your back body, and then float your feet up as well and take a big full breath. Good, so with an inhale, we're gonna push the feet forward, squeeze the belly to lift up to a boat. And as you exhale, you're gonna lower down all the way to a low boat pose. Squeeze the belly, inhale to lift. Exhale, release to the mat. 2 more, inhale to lift. Exhale. Inhale to lift. Exhale. 1 more time, inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. Keep your head and your shoulders curled up, and then inhale and lift the soles of the feet toward the sky. Pull your femur bones deeply into your hip sockets, and then as you exhale, start to lower the right leg until it can come to float over the mat. If at any moment this is too intense, bending the knees will give a little bit of release to the intensity that we're feeling. If it's working out okay, we're gonna take 3 long full breaths here. Pulling the belly down with every exhale. Good, wait for your inhale, lift the right foot to match its pair, and then exhale, lower the left. So same thing, tracking the femur bones back into the hip sockets, breathing with precision. And even though there's not a whole lot of movement here, there's a whole lot of strength, so we're gonna continue with this for 3 more. Really good, 1 more. Good, inhale, lifting the feet, and then exhale, hugging everything in. And with a slow rock and a roll, come all the way up to sit. And however it makes the most sense to you, maybe crossing the ankles and come all the way back around until we can plug our hands evenly down into the floor and step both feet back to the length of a plank pose, first plank. So reminder, always, knees can come down if it ever feels too intense to feel this lift. Pull the belly all the way up and in, and then slide your breastbone forward with a conscious pull of the shoulders back from the ears. If knees are lifted, really let the legs work, so we're lifting the femur bones high. You're gonna take 1 more big breath. Good, and as you exhale, come down to the mat with control. Good, when you get here, bring your fingertips back behind you, untuck your toes so that you can really connect the front of the pubic bone to the floor and squeeze the leg muscles. And then as you inhale, you're gonna lift and elevate your chest and your legs up off the mat. So choices, you can keep your hands pressed. This will help nurse your shoulders back out of your ears, or you can bring the arms into float as well. We're gonna continue to breathe full conscious breaths, so the breath never gets lost as we're practicing. Good, and when your exhale comes, release your chest to come down. Whew. Good, hands come to frame your breastbone. Use an inhale to push up through table. And make sure that your hands are really evenly committed as you lift hips up really nice and high to your first downward facing dog. Nice big full body breath in and complete breath out. And if it feels good to pedal and sway in any way, you can welcome that. If you find that you're tender through the back of the legs, through the side waist, through the shoulders, through the arms, give yourself the opportunity to pull and stretch into the places that need it the most in the beginning. And when your exhale comes next, you're gonna lower your knees back to the floor. Keep your hips stacked over your knees, and then walk your hands as far forward as you can comfortably reach to the front. We're gonna lower our forehead to the floor and really make space through the whole crest of the upper back, pressing the hands into the earth, lengthening shoulders. You can stay here with your forehead rested, or if it's available, drop your chin and maybe even your breastbone. I'm gonna try not to collapse on the microphone here. Take a long, big, full breath. And then look forward with an inhale. We're gonna walk back up on the hands. Hands are gonna come an outer shoulder distance once again. And then toes tuck and we pull hips high, downward facing dog. Nice, big, long, full breath in. And all the way out. Look up towards your hands and use an exhale to walk or to take a step to the front. Halfway up as we inhale. Forward fold, let it go. Arms to the sky, big bright in breath. Hands to the center, come down. Get your breath into rhythm. So as you inhale, lift up high. And as you exhale, release and fold. Halfway up with an inhale. And then simple forward fold. You're gonna step right foot back and then lower your right knee down to the ground. And as you inhale, sweep your arms all the way up high to the sky. Now, as you get to some height here, we're gonna really try to find a lift of the front of the belly. And I'm gonna invite you to thread your fingers and press your head back into your hands so that you can widen your elbows. Back off a bit from the lunge so that you can really lift the front of your pubic bone in towards your belly button. You're gonna feel a squeeze in the lower core and the front edge of your hip flexor here. And then as you exhale, sink back in, keeping that strength. It might be a little bit less of a sink, but it'll stay dynamic into the front of the hip. Now inhale, spread your elbows out wide, lift your chest. Keep your low back really steady, and exhale, just curl the upper back. No pressure in the hands. This just comes from a squeeze of the upper abdomen. Inhale, open. Exhale, curl. Finding it with your own breath. Once more, inhale. And then exhale. Good, inhale, lift the chest, maybe the hands. And then exhale, both hands come down to frame your front foot. You're gonna pick up the back knee and step straight back to plank pose. Take a big breath in, firm the belly and the legs. And with an exhale, lower all the way down to the mat. Good, when you get here, you're gonna bring your elbows out in front of you for variation Sphinx pose. So elbows are gonna track toward one another, balancing under our shoulders, and take the tip of each shoulder and arm bone, roll them onto the back, broadening the chest. Take one more big, long breath here. Good, and then from here, you're gonna tuck your toes, empower the strength of your legs and your belly, and lift the hips and the pelvis up off the mat. Drag your chest forward and take a last breath. Good, from here, you're gonna walk your elbows, your toes towards your elbows to find a variation of dolphin. From our dolphin, we're gonna have to push very truly through the surface of our hands and our forearms to lift the weight of our tail back and away so that we're not collapsing into the shoulders. From here, as you exhale, you're gonna try to bring your nose forward till it might come towards your thumbs, and then inhale and pull back. Exhale, come forward. Inhale, pull back. Good, we're gonna do it 2 more times. Exhale, pull forward. Inhale, drag back. Exhale, pull forward. Inhale, drag back. From here, we're gonna try to press back up onto our hands. So you can do one at a time to down dog, or straighten both arms at the same time and lengthen your tailbone up nice and high. Big, nice, juicy, full breath in and out. Good, with an inhale, you're gonna raise your right leg up high to the sky. And with an exhale, you're gonna bring your right knee to tap behind the back of your right tricep. Good, inhale to lift. Exhale to tap. Good, again, inhale to lift. Exhale to tap. Inhale to lift up. And then exhale, step all the way through to your hands, and we're gonna carve open to Warrior Two. From your Warrior Two, you're gonna sink in really nice and deep to your front knee. Revolve both femur bones wide and sit into your own strength. So you might even decide that you wanna lengthen your pose out so that you can really get into the juiciness of the legs. Keep the structure of your Warrior Two. Bring your front elbow to your front thigh. Lift your back arm out of your shoulder. Keep your chest lifted. So there is an element of growth, structure, and then again, sinking into this front hip so you can feel the sing. One more nice full breath. Good, look down. With an exhale, both hands come to frame your front foot, pick up your back heel, and push to step forward. Come halfway up when you get here, and then fold and let it go. Arms to the sky, big inhale. And then hands through the center, come down. Same again, inhale, lift up high. And then exhale, sweep down, forward fold. Half extension with an inhale. Exhale, release your fingertips, step your left foot back and lower the knee to the ground. With an in-breath, arms sweep up nice and high. You're gonna try to lace your fingers, cradle the back of your head, Back off from the lunge a bit so that you can pick up the front of the pubic bone, really start to squeeze lower core and front of your hip flexor, and then sink back into wherever it is that can maintain. Inhale, peel your chest up. Exhale, squeeze your upper abdomen, chin to chest. Light with the hands, if no action at all. Inhale, open. Exhale, round. Again, inhale, open. Exhale, round. Last time, inhale, open, maybe send your fingertips to the sky. And exhale, both hands come down to frame front foot. We're gonna pick up the back knee so that we can find plank pose. Pull the belly up and drag the chest forward. And then exhale, come down with control. Sphinx pose again. Our hands come out in front of us. Pulling the tips of the heads of the arm bones back away from the ears. Clear our breath. Good. From here, tuck our toes, power up the strength of our legs, and lift hips up. Drag your chest forward. Really feel the juiciness of the front of your thighs work. And then you're gonna walk your toes towards your elbows in a variation of dolphin. And only bring your toes close enough that you feel like you can keep the full tip rising of your tailbone high. And again, you can stay in a variation of dolphin straight up, or use an exhale and bring yourself forward, nose towards your thumbs. And then inhale, pull back. Exhale, coming forward. Inhale, pulling back. 2 more times. From here, maybe one arm at a time, straightening up, pressing through the hands, lifting the tailbone super duper high, downward facing dog. Left leg up with a big inhale. Exhale, bring the left knee forward, tap the back of the left tricep. Inhale, kick it up. Exhale, come forward. Inhale, kick it up. Exhale, come forward once more. Good. Inhale, kick up. And this time the exhale is gonna step our front foot through for warrior 2, spin the back heel down, and cartwheel up and open. Sinking into the space that we can find with the hips and the legs, trusting the full current of our breath, finding that spaciousness into where it is that we can allow ourselves to be held, but making sure that we're not overdoing. Front elbow is gonna find front thigh, back arm out of the shoulder. Stretch and open the space at the front of the chest, even as though you were cycling the rib cage up toward the sky and slightly leaning back. Breathe here, one more. Good. With an exhale, both hands come down, frame front foot, pick up back heel, and push to step forward. Halfway up when you get to the top. Drape down and fold, let it go. Arms to the sky with a slow inhale. And then clear your hands down to your heart. Move just with the breath for 3. Inhale to lift. Exhale, release your hands into the center of your chest. Slow everything down, 2 more. One more, really committing to this rhythm. And moving on with an inhale, stretch. And exhale, smooth dive, forward fold. Halfway up with an inhale. And then release your fingertips and step your right foot back. We're gonna keep the back knee lifted, back leg strong, and sweep up slow and steady, crescent lunge pose. Similar to the low lunge, pull your belly back. So we're really supported in the center, like you're pulling strength from the foundation through your legs into the center. Lift the side waist high. When your exhale comes, you're gonna bend through the right knee and try to tap the mat. And then inhale, pull that femur bone back and strengthen. Do it 3 more times. See if you can stay with the continuum of your own breath, so we don't have to be exactly the same. We're working with our own strength. Really good. When your exhale comes, both hands come down to frame your front foot, and you're gonna step front foot back to find plank pose. Take a big breath in, lengthen your body, extend, and then exhale, come down with control. Good. Sphinx pose, hands out in front. Forearms plug and track toward one another. Hands help us drag our chest forward and shoulders back. Take one more into this beautiful open back bend.
And then you're gonna tuck your toes and squeeze and lift hips and belly up off the mat. Charge through the legs, drag your chest forward. Take one more. Good, and from here, walking toes toward elbows, variation dolphin, as we did before. Tailbone lifts up really nice and high. So this time you could choose to just stay in dolphin. It's a lot of work as it is, trying to pull the weight back out of the shoulder so we're not collapsing. Or you're gonna use an inhale, lift your right leg high. When your exhale comes, you're gonna try to bring your right knee up and tap your tricep. Good, inhale, kick it back. Exhale, bring it forward, tap, and coming all the way back. Exhale, tap, inhale up. One more time, exhale, tap, and inhale up. Try to keep your right leg lifted. Extend up onto your hands, three-legged downward facing dog. Look up towards your hands, bring the right foot through to the front. Your back heel's gonna pivot for warrior two, and we'll rise. Good, so it should feel known, familiar, to sink into this posture. Find your strength. Then bring your front elbow to your front thigh as we did last time. Back hand reaches straight out of the shoulder. This time, if it feels good, you can bring your top hand up over your top ear. And if you want a little bit more spice, lower your front fingertips down toward the floor. Sink into the strength and the singing of your hips, and take two more. Good, when your exhale comes, both hands inner edge right foot. You're gonna walk yourself to the long edge of the mat till all 10 toes face the long side. Open your straddle to a place that it feels sustainable. Lift your chest up so there is a length from your tailbone through the crown of your head. And then as you exhale, drape down and fold. You might come to a place where the crown of the head comes quite close to the floor. So if that's the case, you could always choose to rest onto elbows and forearms. There'll be a lightness here compared to our other Sphinx and plank and dolphin poses. Lift the sit bones up away from the heels so there's a true lengthening of the back of the legs. We're just gonna take two more. Good, from here, begin to lift your gaze, come back up into fingertips. You're gonna look back up into your right foot and turn into a pivot. Push through the surface of the right foot and step up. And both your feet are even. Inhale your chest up, and then fold. Good, arms to the sky, slow, long in breath. Hands through the center. Fingertips down to the sides to just take a moment, coming back into mountain pose. Second side with a long inhale. Sweeping down with a full exhale. Halfway up, inhale. And then simple forward fold. I'm gonna step the left foot back, keep the knee lifted, and sweep up slow so your shoulders come all the way up out of your hips. When your exhale comes, you're gonna lower down and tap. And then inhale, squeeze the strength out of this leg. Exhale, lower and tap. Inhale, lift it back up. Again, lower and lift. Final time, lower and lift. Awesome. Hands come down to frame your front foot. Final time back to plank pose. Lengthen everything out. Pull your chest forward and then release with control to the mat. Sphinx pose. Forearms come to the floor. Pull your chest through with some strength of your low, deep core body, helping to pump and open your chest. And then we're gonna tuck our toes, squeeze the hips up off the mat with the strength of the legs and the belly. Pull your chest forward. Again, feet walk up toward elbows. Lengthen your tailbone high so there's a big lift, a purposeful pull out of the shoulders. Your left leg is gonna extend to the sky. When your exhale comes, you're gonna tap your left knee toward the back of your tricep and inhale, kick back. Exhale, tap. Inhale, kick. Exhale, tap. Inhale, kick. One more time, tap. And then kick. Try to keep the leg lifted and press back up to downward facing dog. And then look forward to your hands and bring your left foot through to the front. Back heel turns and spins for warrior two. And we're gonna open everything up. Sinking into the strength of the legs. Peel and opening everything wide. Sitting into our own warmth, and then front elbow, front thigh, back arm out of the shoulder or up over the ear. And keep your front elbow rested, or bring your fingertips down toward the inner edge of the ankle. Stretch long, manage the breath. Really good. When your exhale comes, both hands inner edge of your front ankle. And again, we're gonna walk into a pivot until all 10 toes face the long right edge of the mat. Lift your chest up so there's some lengthening in your spine. And then as you exhale, hinge through the hip crease and fold. Now, if you find you come to a place where the crown of the head's coming quite close to the floor, you might again rest on your elbows or your forearms. Lift your tailbone high. Breathe into the space that you're finding. One more, long and slow. With an inhale, lift your gaze, repivot your feet so everything's facing the front. Push through your left foot and come up. When feet are even, inhale your chest up halfway. And then take a long drape as you fold. Staying in this forward fold for a couple of extra breaths. Choose to either keep your fingertips planted or let your whole upper body start to lose some of its strength. Letting everything descend, maybe even reaching for opposite elbow or forearm. Bringing the breath to be rich and true and full to the space of the low back. And then from here, we're gonna roll to stand a last time. Flex through knees, lift and roll and round, and come all the way up. Exhale, drop everything back and down. Arms to the sky for a long, sweet lift. And then with an exhale, we're gonna bring ourselves down through a squatted position and see how smoothly we can release our buns to the mat. Feet to the floor, lots of clearance behind. Roll all the way down. This time when you get onto your back body, I'm gonna take a moment to curl the head and the shoulders up off the mat as we did in the beginning. This time you're gonna lengthen the legs and see if you can simultaneously kick both feet toward the sky. And then keeping the legs drawn together as one unit, you're gonna exhale and lower. And then when the shake starts to come in, or you can hover, inhale and lift them up slow. We're gonna do it 5 times. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift up slow. Whew, shake, exhale, lower. Inhale, lift up slow. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift up slow. Last time. And then the knees come into the chest and we take a little sway. You're gonna leave your hands beside your hips. And for a last long, slow breath, you're gonna extend the soles of the feet to the sky. This time we're gonna pretend that the legs are one as they were before, but this time we're gonna start to circulate with the legs. And so how you circulate here, it doesn't really matter. It's just starting to get extra acquainted of what spots of our belly and our back and our hips and our legs are working as we move through these shapes. And so it might be interesting to have them really contained and small for a second, and then to change and make it really big and loopy. And at some point come back into center and reverse. Fantastic. It doesn't seem like much, but it's a great feat to keep all mind and body and breath in the same moment together. Come back into center and use an exhale to bend your knees. Bring your feet to the floor. Your heels are gonna come quite close to the back of your sit bones. Feet are spaced about as wide as your hips. Hands lay down beside your hips, or if you would prefer, you could take a robot variation. Plug your upper back to the floor, and when you feel steady, inhale, lift your hips up high. Now in this lift of our bridge pose, it would be wonderful if you kept your knees tracking into center, and then you really use the strength of your legs to try to feel a stretch across the front edges of your hips and the front of your quadriceps. You're gonna breathe here 2 more. Good. When your exhale comes, lower sweetly and slowly. And then send your arms out wide when the hips come back to the floor. Separate your feet wider, and we're gonna sweep and swish our hips and our knees in a windshield wiper. So when you take a posture like windshield wiper, the wider that the feet are, I like mine all the way out to the very edges of the mat. It gives a nice mobility to internally rotate one leg, externally rotate the other, and then vice versa. Sweeping side to side on the call of our own breath. And then the next time the knees drop over toward the left side, pause and leave them there. Now, depending on how this feels in the space of your low back and your hips in this moment, or even into the space of the right knee, you could choose to simply collect the knees together in a regular twist, and that's a wonderful choice to make for ourselves. If it is not uncomfortable to your knee or hip or back body to have knees splayed out wide like this, you could welcome yourself to stay in this wide space and give everything permission to drape and fall. We're gonna take 3 conscious breaths here. And although I reckon your heart rate is starting to come back into a place that it is more even, which means that the breath becomes something we don't have to focus on quite as much, I'm gonna really recommend that you stay committed to this full movement of breath. Let's take one more here, deep and powerful. Really good. Inhale, lift the knees up through center. Take a switch. Both knees fall over to the right. You can always scoot and adjust your hips. You can decide that this wide variation of the twist doesn't feel good in your body at all. Collect the knees together or take a different variation entirely. And now into this space where we're working to purposely release the body. It's the opposite action of purposely strengthening the body as we have been for this last number of minutes. Really drape and rest. Last 2 breaths here. Go with an inhale, lift your knees back up through center, square the hips under your shoulders, and hug everything in toward yourself for just a breath or 2, a little rock or a sway, or it might feel good to kind of circulate around your tail. When you feel complete, kick your feet down to the front edge of the mat. Release your body in a way that it can find some comfort. So if you need to readjust to find anything to hold you, if you need to replace clothing or put anything beneath your head or your knees or cover up, do so. And I invite you to really fall into this moment where now the strength gets to distill, not just through our physical layer, but through the very important mental layer that helps us break and shatter these supposed limitations that we put on ourselves. Consistency of showing up for ourselves. Rest for just a couple of moments. Today I will leave you in this surrendered shape of your relaxation shavasana. It is my true hope that at least a few of us have the ability to linger here for a couple of moments more today. Whenever it is that you're ready to rise, please do so in knowing that we are all so much stronger than we give ourselves credit for. Through the actions of your practice and the greater practice that is your life off the mat, I hope that you will continually find the space within yourself that you can be brave, be true, and be you. Namaste.